I may hate drama in my life, but I love talking about the drama in yours.
I may watch too much reality TV, but you're listening to me talk about it. What's up, everybody?
Hola.
This is Fumi.
This is B. Hello.
I was like,
I'm here too.
I don't think I can ever do a show by myself. That's weird. I'll just be talking to the air. Anyway, you have tuned into a new episode of RealiTEA-V where we're trying to bring some kind of reality to reality TV. And we're first going to discuss our week's B.
Well, it was great. I'm here. Another day, another dollar.
I wish I could have like $5. Instead of just one, I'll take 5.
Right.
Yeah.
What about you?
Had an interesting weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Finally went out.
Mm-hmm.
All weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still recovering from not having any sleep. And that's as far as I'm going with the weekend. But it was good. Yeah, like I said, I'm really happy to get out of the house. My friend was in town, and that kind of like helped the situation. So this weekend I'm going to LA. So I'm busy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm booked and busy.
Mm-hmm.
And all that jazz.
Right. Just found out I have to book my flight because I'm going to Chicago in 2 weeks.
What the fuck?
Yeah. A friend, she invited me. I have to use this flight credit. So she's like, well, I'm going to Chicago. You want to come? And I'm like, will I intrude? She was like, no. And then me and somebody else was like, well, let's go. So I was like, well, okay, fuck. Let's figure this shit out.
Well, look you over here. See, that's how you begin your jet set in life.
Like,
have friends in different places. You'd be like,
I guess I'll go.
So I'm coming to Miami. I was just wondering if you want to hang out. Right. You know, maybe I can stay at your place. But
right.
You have friends in New York. Kind of like my sister. She got friends in New York. Her friends come and see her in Seattle.
Right.
She goes with her friend to Europe every summer now. It seems like it's become a tradition.
Right.
And she went to Baltimore, like, all random to see her friends graduate from school.
Yeah. You
know, yeah. I always think about, like, yes, sometimes the younger sibling is doing things a little bit better than you. And my sister is one of them. Like, you know what? Yes, live your life, baby sis. Live your life before responsibilities of other people come into play.
Yeah, it's real when it happens.
Yeah, it's real when it happens. And during the process, you just really want to, like, appreciate.
Yeah.
Being by yourself and be able to be like, I'm going to go to Chicago 2 weeks. What?
Yeah, that's what I pretty much had to come to. Like, my late 20s, I feel like I was like, why hasn't it happened for me? Why don't I have a man or why don't I have a kid? And then, like, past, like, year and a half, it was like, you know what? It hasn't happened for a reason. Mm-hmm. God might not even see fit for it to happen for me. So instead of me just sitting around wondering why it hasn't happened, let me just live life as it is now.
I was talking to my friend earlier, and I was like, you know what? I've already kind of, like, mentally prepared myself to be really in my mid-30s before I get in a relationship. But it's not coming from a depressed kind of way. It's just more of, like, a realization of I still have things I want to do. I'm trying to go back to school, trying to be a nurse practitioner. You know, I have things that I actually want to do.
Yeah.
And not saying that I couldn't fit a relationship in there. If I did, that person has to be very secure with themselves.
Yeah.
And be okay with the fact that I have other goals to accomplish.
Right. That's
true. And if they're fine with them just coming over and they watch Netflix while I study and they consider that spending time, then I'm cool.
Yeah.
And vice versa. If they're in a situation where they're trying to, finalize something, that one piece of their life they feel like they need to accomplish, I'm like, well, I can just chill and just eat popcorn in the bed and watch Netflix while you finish your business plan. That's fine.
Right. And that's very important.
Yeah, because it's not necessarily about always going out and things of that nature, but being respectful of other things that are going on in their life. You can't be consumed into one person all of the time. Like, I don't want to be with someone where I got to pour myself into this person and I'm not accomplishing what I want to accomplish.
Yeah.
Like being a nurse practitioner or opening up my own medical supply, not medical supply, Jesus, no. Med spa.
Yeah.
And things of that nature. And if they were like, you know what? I've done this. I've been out of school, 7 years now? Mm-hmm. And I feel like, okay, my son's older. I did a lot of sacrifices.
Right.
I feel like I can go back and do what I need to do. And I have a plan of how I can do that being a single mom.
Yeah.
And so, I'm just going to go for it.
Yeah. And that's very important. And, like, I have my brother and even my older cousins. Well, one of my older cousins, she's been telling me since I was a kid, don't have no kids. So, yeah.
Been very adamant.
Yes, she's, yeah. And they all are like, one of my cousins, they're like, don't have any kids at all. Like, if I could trade places with you, you could just do it all. And I'm just kind of like, well, I don't want to be that lonely. But I kind of did realize, I'm like, I'm a very selfish person. In like,
in a good
even
way.
like,
In a good way. It's not a
I don't even
way.
know if it's a good way. I think I need to talk to my therapist, Heather, about it. Because I feel like I have a fear of taking care of things. Like, I want a dog, but I'm like, I don't fully want to be responsible for a dog. Like, when I hear my friends, how they're like, yeah, I just have to, take my dog to the dog sitter. Or if I am out too long, hey, I got to cut this short because I got to be back home to, like, take care of my dog. Because if I don't let him out, they'll pee and run amok through my house. And I'm like,
what goes through your head is, I don't have time
want
for
that. And then a kid, of course, is that times 3. So I'm like, well, maybe, you know what, it's not my time right now. So I'm not going to try to rush the thoughts out of my head.
But that's what I mean by, I don't think it's selfish, though.
Yeah.
I feel like you are just making sure that you're in the best position to be able to handle
But
all
no,
of
I
that.
think it's a legit fear. Like, the idea, I want a dog. But then when I really think about it, I get, like, not anxiety.
You sound just like Cameron.
But I get kind of like... Yeah. And I even remember that episode on the show when the doctor was like, well, when you think about kids, do you think about gaining something or giving something up? I immediately think I'm giving something up.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, you know what? I'll just revisit this in like a year or two and see where I'm at. But for right now,
I think
am where I am.
Anxious about it is more a better term for it than selfish.
Yeah.
Because you are not required. I know a lot of women and people in the South or whatever their traditions are, they feel like you're obligated to have kids. And that's why you some people feel like it's selfish, but you're not required to have kids. Like, you don't have to have a desire to have kids just because you're a woman. I mean, you can be like a woman who is like, fuck that. I don't want
to be 65 and it's like, who the fuck's about to help me or take care of me? So it's like, I got to think like, it's all fun and games now, but I have to think about later.
But just like Cameron, she was never a hard no.
Yeah.
So it's just timing, I think, for you and like just being like, okay, I feel like I'm in a position. Plus you're like single too now. So it's like, there's a lot of other things that, need to come into play. Cameron was actually married and still like, before you marry, I just want to let you know, might not be all there with the kid front, but I'm just being up front. He decided to marry anyway, and she was still like, the thought about having my vagina being ripped open for a child is not on my list right now. Yeah. So,
yeah, she figured it out at 30. Well, she didn't figure it out. It came at 33. So, we'll see. We shall see. Either way, I will just keep living life like it's golden.
Yeah, so that's kind of why I'm like, I was having a conversation with her. Like, I don't feel like in a sad sense of like, oh, I'm going to be lonely all these years.
Yeah.
I don't settle for shit. I might deal with somebody longer than I should have. Of course, I think everybody does that. I mean, nothing like 5 years or some bullshit like that. Maybe like 3 weeks too long. But I don't want to just be in a quote unquote relationship with someone because they're willing to be in a relationship with me and I'm tired of looking. That I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, I don't know, but that's how it is. I'm gonna go back to school. I mean, maybe I'm meeting somebody at school. I don't know. Maybe it'd be in the same program as me. That'll be even better because then we'll both be making over $100,000 together, and I get my house and travel the way I want to.
Mm-hmm.
But I have told myself if and when I do get married, I am not having kids right away.
Yeah.
Because it's like I've already done the whole single mom thing. I kind of want to just enjoy this small little family before I start adding a whole bunch of stuff. That way when he is with his dad, it's just the two of us. We can do whatever the fuck we want. We can travel wherever we want. We get these passports, all tattooed up with stamps.
Right.
I don't want to have kids right away just because people expect me to because I'm finally married. Like, oh, well, you can have kids. Not out of wedlock. I don't give a shit.
Right.
Already been through a whole bunch of stuff. Let's enjoy this small little family, and only 2 bedrooms I actually have to clean, not 3 or 4.
Yep.
Anywho, let's get into the week of these reality TV celebrity people. Now, first order of business. Ran, a.k.a. Ron from Jersey Shore, got ran over by a car. And I was surprised, and I was shocked and not shocked at the same time.
Yeah.
What did your thoughts when you heard about it?
Well, there's been so much shit going on with them, so I'm not surprised.
Right.
Leading up. Like, every week for the past, 3 weeks, he's been in the news for something. So, I mean, I'm glad he's alive. But, yeah, that sucks between, trying to run people over, dogs getting killed, just
the Instagram live of her recording their stuff.
It's a lot. And I would say I think MTV needs to step in, but they didn't really step in with Mike. So, yeah, it's pretty sad, but sucks that now that there is a baby involved.
Right. And it's crazy because according to this article, she's 31. She was arrested out here in Las Vegas because Ron and Pauly D both live out here in the Vegas area since the Jersey Shore original season. And they were at a barbecue. There was an argument in the car. He wanted to get out the car, told the bitch, pull over. Tried to get out the car. He got all kind of messed up in the seatbelt. And she just said, fuck this shit, and put her pedal to the metal.
Yeah.
And the baby was in the car.
That's just sad on all levels. She needs to be arrested. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Oh, yeah, she did. Yeah, she did get arrested.
Stay in jail for, I don't know, what the punishment for
you know what I think is really toxic, too, for Ron? I understand that on the show, everyone's trying to be devil's advocate and kind of let him know, if you want to be with her, then be with her. If you don't, then don't. Yeah. I honestly would have came more of an approach of you guys are toxic as fuck. You guys don't need to be together.
But that's the approach that Mike is taking with him. And now everybody in the house is like, well, you can't really judge him because, you fucked up too, and now you're talking shit about him. And it's no, it's not really talking shit. Granted, Mike's situation was different, but it's pretty much unsaid, but acknowledged that Ronnie has some type of a drug problem, and I don't know. I guess in the house, they're trying to be maybe they're trying to portray it as on the show that it's surfaced he's struggling with about to be a dad and this and that. And I think Mike is the only one that's kind of no, he's spiraling out of control.
Because he's the only one out of everyone that we know of that has dealt with, a drug problem. I think his was specifically like opioids or something like that, like a pill problem. But because he's survived it and been sober from it and come to a realization that a lot of his actions was based on those issues that he had to cause him to abuse medications.
Yeah.
I feel like he's the only one that can really give an honest, like,
unsugar-coated opinion.
Yeah, because I think saying like, oh, well, if you want to be with her, then you got to make it work.
Yeah, it's like at this point, it's deeper than that.
No, it's literally... And then they really can't talk about Mike because obviously it's not as out in the open with him and Lauren compared to Ronnie and this ex-girlfriend, Jen. But I don't think it ever was toxic, like getting run over by a car and having police come to your house for domestic violence allegations.
Yeah.
Like, you can't even compare it. The only thing that's comparable to the two is maybe an addiction to something. But for 10 years, it's always been recorded on camera that Ron has a very toxic, volatile relationship and temper towards his partner. I just think that Sam didn't really meet him on the same level as it.
Yeah.
She would yell, but she wouldn't try to run him over with the car.
Yeah, or destroy all his shit.
Or try to fight him. She really will. She
did deck him that one time.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Yeah, and then I don't have any excuses to make for him or even try to justify it. Just because, like I said, now there's a baby involved. So now it's like both of y'all have to suck that shit up and figure it out, or you'll get your kid taken away, which probably might need to happen now. I wouldn't say taken away and maybe put in the system, but maybe if there's like a relative or something else,
or an aunt or somebody that's gonna take care.
That's a lot. And you can even I can look at Ronnie and tell, like, you're abusing some type of drug, because just in your face, it doesn't.
He just
looks
right. Kind of blank, like he's not really there.
Yeah.
And obviously he's been fighting the same stuff for a very long time. You know, the reason of why they would abuse something in the first place is always like an underlying, base of the fire type of thing of why they abuse things in the first place. So I feel like he's never, ever dealt with that in all these years. When did Jersey Shore start? Like 2009, 8 or 9, something like that. So 10 years we've been seeing this on camera. And I'm pretty sure he probably was the same way before he got on Jersey Shore, just with, other relationships. Yeah. Mind you, the incident where Jen ran over Ron with the car, she was actually arrested earlier this month for being in a fight at Planet Hollywood with him. And she was arrested.
Yeah.
And this was on... She was arrested and booked for domestic battery. Her bail was set at $3,000. They got into a fight while... Oh, no. This is the same thing, actually. I read somewhere that... Early this month, cops were called when they got into a heated argument at Planet Hollywood while he was shooting the show. So now it's going to be on season 2.
Yeah. Because I did hear something about where they are supposedly trying to do an intervention with him or whatever, which I'm like, intervention on TV is like the worst thing you could do.
It really is really bad.
Yeah, y'all are trash. You need to get your shit together. It's not cute anymore.
I mean, it never really was. But...
It's like, but even like with him and Sam, it was not cute, but it was at least laughable. This is like, no, it's just
this
sad.
is just straight up sad.
Yeah.
I feel like since it was a house environment and there were like other things going on.
Yeah.
It was, I think, a little bit different. And then, of course, we know the infamous, Ran, stop, and, stuff like that. But I think since it's just the two of them in a household, throwing stuff and punches and recording and just...
Yeah, it's bad. But on to slightly better... Well, I don't know if it's better, but Mike's sentencing got pushed back to September. So I don't know if that's a good thing. I know he probably might be like, I'm ready for this to be over. Maybe all the constant pushbacks is a good thing. But since it was pushed back again, he will be on the next episode of Jersey Shore. So, you know, still getting that coin one way or another.
Episode or season?
Season.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I mean, I don't know. We don't know if it's good or bad. I think attorneys, when they get the whole bunch of continuances and like elongated, like whatever, I think they don't really view that as a good thing. Because just imagine it. The judge pretty much is marinating on your sentence.
Yeah.
He might have a change of heart. Like, you know what? No.
Yeah.
You go to jail.
Right. I'm hoping maybe they see that like is changed by the show and it's very consistent, like not breaking his sobriety, and maybe that will help.
Engage Lauren.
Yeah, because it was pushed back to August, because it was actually supposed to be last week. And it was pushed back to August, but they said, well, since he's already filming, they just went ahead and pushed it back to September for him. So I'm like, well, maybe, I don't know.
Well, I guess you can say that would be a good thing then, because they're actually letting him work in a sense. So if they're granting, you know, extension because he's working and getting money, then maybe that is, maybe that is a good thing. Because
they do say he is subject to also pay up to a $250,000 fine. So maybe they're like, well, if you get this fine, you are going to need to pay us back.
Like, well, you're going to be getting more money, so might as well just go ahead and do it because you're going to give it to us in a second.
Yeah. So,
I mean, maybe.
And the way Jersey Shore is set up, he might have got that in like 2 seasons, so.
At this point, probably. Yeah. He probably has. Hopefully, he's been saving his coin from like marriage boot camp and stuff too.
I'm like, I have no doubt that none of you guys, maybe with the exception of Dina, didn't come back and get a check less than 6 figures.
True.
And like by the 3rd episode aired, they were like, season 2. I'm like, yeah, y'all are.
And they're already filming it. Yeah. The season's not even fucking over yet.
Right. Make your money. Don't let it make you.
Well, I mean, hopefully everything works out. He really does look like he's really trying in multiple aspects of sobriety, getting his life together, knowing that he can't do that tax stuff again. Because mind you, his brothers are involved too. So he wasn't the only person in that situation. Yeah. No pun intended. That got in trouble with this whole tax stuff. But that's just a lesson to everybody. Don't fuck around with your taxes.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Whether you make $50,000 a year or $500,000 a year, don't fuck around with your taxes. If you really need a legit accountant or somebody to take care of your finances, or somebody you can just call and say, "Is this legal?"
Right.
I'd recommend anybody on any financial level to have somebody that you can call it. We both have somebody we can hit up. Like, so. You know, can I have this as a tax write-off? Like, just to ask questions. Because, you know, we're not experts on these things. So, hopefully it'll work out for him. Hopefully Ron can get some type of help. Intervention on TV, obviously, is not. And he's so volatile, I don't think that was the best. Yeah. Was Jen there, the ex-girlfriend?
I don't know.
Planet Hollywood, god dang. It's just crazy because we're so close now. But anyway. Right. Moving on to... I find it's good news. Some people might think I'm full of shit because, you know, we have the Me Too movement going on right now. But Neve has been cleared of all allegations of sexual misconduct or harassment. Right. And they resumed filming Catfish.
Right. And I believe it's scheduled to be on either next Wednesday or the Wednesday after. So... Yay. Congrats.
Yeah. I think most people did not believe. Yeah. There's some people that are like, you know, I don't know, maybe. I think Neve is like one of the few men that when the allegations come up, you're like, no. Yeah. Not knowing a sense of, well, that's my hero from when I was a child and blah, blah, blah. Just a straight up, no.
I don't think so.
No.
I need proof of that.
Like, I would need recordings, text messages, like, to really feel like, wow, he's really been faking it all this time for all these years and all these documentaries and docuseries about what kind of person that he is.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's good. I know some people probably feel like, well, I want to say we talked about this in the episode before last or whatever. If you're making fake allegations against a person, you're going to hell.
Yeah, not
It
cool.
is not cool for you to try to retaliate against a man or woman and feel like the best way to go from that is to lie about sexual allegations and try to get them arrested and go to jail for it.
Yeah.
Like, that's really low.
Lowest you can go.
You can talk about, you ugly and blah. I'd rather you do all that bullshit than you be like, yeah, he tried to rape me. He really didn't.
And just mess up somebody's livelihood.
Mind you, he's married, he has a kid, like, he has this huge catfish empire. He has, a partnership with Attention. It's like, a media service, whatever. They have videos that circulate in, like, social media and stuff. So, I don't know. I guess that's good. Good for him. Mm-hmm. Continue the catfishing.
Right. Because people still need it.
They really do. Somebody put on, how do people still get catfish out of all these years? I'm like, you'd be surprised. Because people still, like, I think it's worse these days because you got Photoshop and you got all this technology.
Yeah, but still is like how? Like, I'm talking to somebody online, we have 2 weeks to meet.
That's very true.
Like, I
think people are so caught up in the conversation that they don't feel
Conversation's never that good. It's because in the way I see it, and I hate to be like the bubble buster, people know generally what another person wants to hear. So let's say you make a profile and it's saying A, B, C, D, E. If you reach out to me, then chances are you are interested in my A, B, C, D, E of what I said. So then by you guys engaging in conversation, it becomes very easy for me to tell you what you want to hear to keep fooling you. So that's why I'm like, yeah, you got 2 weeks. Or at least some type of FaceTime, some type of it.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, but I'm speaking more of actually watching the episodes.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, the words are not fake. It's the person themselves. So that's why I'm saying that people fall in love with the conversation. Because the conversation is generally real. It's just that the person attached to the pictures, attached to the conversation, is fake as fuck. Yeah. And they don't want to go past the looks. They feel like the looks.
Right. Then in that case, then you should be happy being a lifetime pen pal. Yeah. Like that, then you should even be on Catfish trying to figure out, are you real? Because then at that point, you've pretty much just said, like, well, I know this is probably bullshit, but I'm just going to keep living in denial.
Yeah, it was very rare that somebody had asked help from Catfish where they were like, I honestly don't care what they look like. I just, love the conversation. That's the person I kind of want to stay with. And it's weird because, of course, the people that fall in love, they're really only falling in love with the words because they feel like that person looks a certain type of way. Mm-hmm. So it's like, yeah, you, and that's why I understand where you're coming from, because it's like, you can't just go based on these words.
Right, because then if that's the case, then that means anybody can trick you to fall in love with them.
True.
That means I can make a profile and you will love me in 2 weeks. Because I know what to say. I know how to make, like...
I'm looking at my life.
That's why I'm like, you can't... Like, trust me, I am a hopeless romantic. She is. The top tier of them all. But... to a certain level, you gotta just be real with yourself.
You ain't gonna catch me slipping, nigga.
No, not in that way. Not in that way.
Not on my watch.
Yeah, especially if you like this fine not pubescent, wrong word. Well, if you are this fine, just statue, Boris Kojo
that makes me more
Idris.
skeptical.
Like, so you mean to tell me your fine ass don't want to see me in person? No.
There's no way.
No. Mm-mm. So, yeah, you got 2 weeks. And you look like Boris Kojo, you got 1 week. Like, no. Because I'm not going to waste not 1 ounce of...
I mean, if you live close, you might as well make it that weekend.
Yeah, like, no.
Like, you free this weekend.
Right.
I'm free this weekend. Where we meeting? And you better not stand me up, because if you stand me up, I know you full of shit.
Yeah, and I'm going to be like, okay, well, case closed. But, yeah. So, I mean, I still feel sorry for some people on the show, because I know that deep down, there's people that are just genuinely lonely.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the other hand, how some people be like, you should have known, you know?
It's always a really... Remember the one where they Google hot man with abs?
Yeah, like, come on.
And it popped right up.
Yeah.
He made like 17 pages with the same pictures.
Just sad. Like, come on. And this show has been on so long to where you can search for yourself.
It passed 100 episodes already. Do you know how long it takes for that? At least 5 or 6 seasons to get to 100 episodes. Yeah. And they had the documentary. It was just like...
Right.
Oh, yeah. Everybody knows the term catfish. I want to say the catfish is in the Webster, the Merriam-Webster dictionary or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So it's gotten to the point where it's widely known. Hell, even Dr. Phil be having like show segments of guess who's getting catfish this week.
No.
Like,
yeah,
and it'd be old white women sending people money, and I'm stuck in, Germany by way of Nigeria and blah, 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 blah. And they're just like, well, he told me this and I believe him. And at least when they're older, I feel like, okay.
Right, but these be the same older white women that can't grasp the concept of why police brutality is wrong.
True. They're just the people that believe anything they want to hear.
Right. So,
yeah.
Best of luck to you guys. We'll be tuning in.
I know I need to catch up on catfish anyway. I was kind of behind back when the allegations that first came up.
Yeah.
So, but now as a victory, I'm gonna make sure I keep up with everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so, next news is Alexis Bellino, or was it Bellino or Barino?
Bellino, yeah.
She was a housewife of Orange County.
Mm-hmm.
She was on there for, I want to say 2 or 3 seasons.
3? Yeah. At least get 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like, no, I think it was 3 because she was like contemplating not coming back, and then she wanted coming back when Lydia was there.
Yeah.
So, her and Jim are getting a divorce now. I heard that Jim filed.
Oh, man.
Which makes it makes me want to know, like, why?
Girl, come on back. Get your orange back. Come back next season.
I think it's a perfect time for her to have, kind of like what Shannon is doing, is like have this sense of independence, because I feel like in her situation, Jim was bringing a lot of money in, and he was very... I'm trying not to use the word controlling because that's the easiest term to use.
Yeah.
But he was very adamant about him taking care of everything.
Right.
And she had to be that wife to, honey, can we do this? And honey, can we do that?
Yeah.
And now he fucking filed papers on you? I want to know what the fuck happened.
Right. Yeah. I will never remember. But her first season on there, I remember when I first saw her, I thought like, wow, she is like one of the prettiest white women I had ever seen. And then by like the second season, I was like, okay, you're just normal. But the first time, I was like, oh, like, I haven't really seen too many white women that look like you. But of course that faded. I always thought that she would have been the one maybe to get tired of him. But I definitely think Andy needs to call her. If they're still filming any parts of Orange County, they need to bring her on for a cameo.
Yeah, start her off with, a trial period. Give her a friend of the show status. Right.
Bring her in for like a episode or something, and just bring her on back for...
And now that Tamra is, a religious person, I would like to see that dynamic, because...
They even disagree on Jesus.
Jesus jugs?
Mm-hmm.
What did they disagree on Jesus?
On not this reunion, but the last one, Alexis had wrote in and was like, I think it's very hypocritical, which she kind of had a point, that Tamara made fun of me and being a religious person, and now she's sitting here like this saved person. And I was like, you did call her Jesus jugs, Tamara. And then she was like, well, I forgot what she said, because it was like 2 reunions ago. Mm-hmm. But
yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I don't know.
But what did she do that was hypocritical, though? Did she chastise somebody else for making fun of her beliefs, her new beliefs?
Who, Tamara?
Yeah.
Well, she would chastise Alexis about being extra religious.
No, I knew that part.
Yeah, and so I guess Alexis was like, so now you're all saved and you want people to believe it, but I think it's just an act. And I was like, well, I think Tamara's really changed, but I'm like, I do see where you're coming from, because Tamara did used to kind of throw the digs in there about you being religious and being like, well, how are you religious, but, you know, you got your breast implants and all of, you know, good old Tamara and her one-liners. But, I mean, worse housewives with worse history have made up, so it can happen.
True. But I can't remember what the problem really was between the two besides.
Oh, them two? Tamara just thought Alexis was fake, and she bragged about all her money. And even Alexis would even try to meet up with Tamara and be like, well, I would like for us to be able to try to put this, you know, behind us and we be cool. And Tamara would flat out say, like, no, I don't want to be your friend. Tamara was she was really mean to Alexis. I mean, some of it was funny because it was like, who really likes Alexis? But it was when Tamara was really like in her mean period. Yeah.
Mean girl phase.
Yeah, not even mean woman. Mean lady. Mean white lady.
Yeah, the show's been on for so damn long.
Yeah.
I forget like the little bits and pieces. Like, I understand where she's coming from, but if she is this religious woman, then why she doesn't recognize?
Yeah.
If she's not physically there, then why write in and say she's being fake?
Right.
And then, but you're supposed to be. Okay, I'm not a religious person.
Yeah.
I believe in spirituality, you know, karma and things of that nature, just to be good within yourself. I'm not a religious person, so I was that type of kid to question in church, like, this don't make no sense. just 1 and 1 should not equal 3, should equal 2, and this just does not make sense to me. But I feel like if you claim like you're a religious woman and you find out that someone chastised you for your beliefs and eventually found out that that's the better way for her, why talk shit about it?
Yeah. I wouldn't have wrote in. I mean, I would have talked shit to my friends. Like, you see this bitch? I would have did that because God knows I'm not perfect. However, yeah, when she wrote in, I was like, that's
But then that makes her being a hypocrite for calling somebody a hypocrite.
Yeah.
If you want to go from a religious standpoint, that's what I'm talking about. Not just, you know, common sense or whatever. Yeah. But when you come from a religious standpoint, that just defeats what you're trying to defend from somebody you tried to defend your beliefs to.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense. Just be like, okay, well, I mean, I'm glad. Hopefully she's changed her ways and blah, 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 or whatever. It teaches you to be the bigger person and supposed to love everybody and blah, 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 blah.
I'm not listen to Satan right now and write this letter.
You said listen to Satan?
Yeah, so I'm listening to Satan right now and write this letter. Dear Andy. It happens. We're human.
I think it's really funny.
Right. I just find it funny how. Good old Alexa.
I think the most classiest way she could have done that was like, you know what? I understand that Tamara has a new way of life and that is, you know, being close to God. Hopefully she can see that she needs to apologize for doing the same stuff she's doing right now. Right. And yet she still poses nude. You see that naked picture of her on Instagram the other day?
Nuh-uh.
It was butt-ass naked. She was like, the lighting is good in here. She had no...
Oh, Tamara?
Yeah, Tamara.
I had heard about that, but I didn't actually, like, see the... Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I saw the actual post. I don't know if she deleted it or not. I was like, oh,
yeah.
Sun's out, buns out.
All right.
But, yeah, so I understand that sense, especially now, because that was, like, a couple seasons ago when she wrote in or whatever. But I personally cannot be a religious person. I can't. I don't like having forced ideas upon me where, and then you have all these people who feel like, well, I'm not going to make a cake for you because you're gay. It's like, if you take the religion part out of it, or the selective religion, I should really say. Yeah. Because people like to select certain stuff of a Bible or the Quran or whatever the case may be to justify them discriminating against someone or calling someone all types of just horrible names. And anyway, but it's just like people have selective religious beliefs. They don't want to do all of it. They want to do some of it to justify it. And that has been going back in the centuries and centuries. That is the United States of America. Anyway, before this gets political, because that's where it's headed. The next piece of news is that Kat from Black Ink Crew Chicago opened up her shop in Beverly Hills, and Charmaine was there with her boyfriend or whatever. I'm glad this is the first time I've heard Kat's name that hasn't been attached to Ryan and all that whole bunch of stuff. It's like, you should have been done this when you moved out there the first time. Yeah. Obviously, she felt like there was something that was going to happen with Ryan. That's why she wound up going back and going to the lake house and all that bullshit. But good for her.
Yeah. Best of luck, because you are very talented. So.
And stay over there.
Best of luck.
Don't need to go back. I don't need to see you as a friend of the show. I don't need you popping back up on the show no more. I don't care if the crew got the 9 mag shot back. Yeah. And he's not there. That's still tarnished history for you. And if you keep going back there, then obviously you haven't parted ways with that emotional baggage of your life. And it's just like, as long as you can stay away from there, have your friends fly to you. Right. Or unless you're seeing family,
right? Yeah, like other friends. Like go to Chicago. Just don't associate that little bubble, and you will continue to flourish and all that good stuff.
She don't need to be on the show making appearances.
Yeah, that's even if she stay out of that black ink bubble.
Yeah, just have your friends come to you if you go to see your parents or whatever, and they come and visit you. Y'all hang out, cool, but just don't associate yourself with this show anymore. Because every time you pop up, that means you right back into that emotional space as you did before. No matter how many times you try to justify you being there, boy, these are my friends and blah blah blah. It's like, nope. Still Ryan's name attached to it.
Yeah, so just part ways. And speaking of part ways, I am officially parting ways with the whole Don Ashley cheating storyline. You could talk about it, and I will, I'm completely just done.
Are you going to tell me why you came to this conclusion?
I'm done, yes. I'm done with them because Ryan posted an Instagram of them all in the club, and of course she was all hugged up with Don, and I was just like, okay.
Are you serious?
Yes. So I'm like, so this either leads me to believe one of two things. A, y'all whole little storyline about him cheating is fake, which it wouldn't be the first time it's happened. Or two, you really are just that dumb. And the thing that kind of gets me, well, fully gets me, is someone posted like a throwback clip of like first season of you fighting Charmaine in the strip on the street, talking about some, you can't say you just fucked my man. How you gonna say that? And it was like, wait, fast forward 5 years later and you're still fighting bitches and you still have the same storyline. Every single season, you and Don cheating is the top 3 storyline of Black Ink Chicago. And I'm tired of talking about it. I'm tired of seeing it. The little sympathy I did have for you is gone. I don't want to talk about it. I don't care if you fucked your mom. I will not utter your name in reference to you again. I'm done. Yes.
All right.
And that's all I have to say about that.
I mean, I mean, there's not really much else we can really say about it. I mean, like we've talked about it when it was on the last time. So
yeah, the little bit of credit that I gave her, I said, "Oh, I take it back. I take it back."
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
I didn't really.
And even his snap was like, "Well,
really?"
Yeah, it was like, yeah.
I don't feel like. I can't remember if I necessarily gave her credit.
I was giving
her a little bit of sympathy.
Yeah, just for like, okay, I think you're learning.
I think the only sympathy I possibly did give her is like she just doesn't have this self-esteem and self-worth part of it. But, you know, after seeing that, or you telling me that you saw that, I probably would have the same, like,
I was like,
I cannot deal
she can be
with
discussed, but for me, it's a,
your usual.
Damn, that is whack. Like, yeah.
Like, my token black person response. That's as far as it goes with this situation. I mean, yeah. I don't know. Anyway, in better news, former Love and Hip Hop New York cast member Cardi made a statement and pretty much said that her and Offset Ben got married.
Yay.
And she was like, y'all can start telling me that I'm having kids out of wedlock. I
was never one to tell her that. So does that mean that he was cheating on her as his husband?
That's what somebody put in the comments. They said...
Never saw that.
So he cheated on his wife and not his girlfriend?
Right. That kind of makes it worse. But you know what? To each his own. And to own is their each.
I've never heard that before.
You heard it now. You heard it now.
To each his own.
Here first. To each his own. And to own it's each.
Trying to sound all philosophical and shit.
Ooh, you know, congrats on the marriage and the babies and the step babies, and best of luck on your music.
I wonder if she has a new relationship with the other baby mamas.
I would hope so. Or at least, like, the kids or something. Like, he's gonna be a great father. Girl, he already is a father.
I did see somewhere that he is, like...
Yeah.
You know,
right,
being continuously a good dad, but it's always crazy because when you do hear of someone who is having a serious relationship or as far as marriage with someone who has multiple kids by multiple different women, it's always like, do you even know or talk to these women? Because obviously I think no one really thinks about the co-parent aspect of dealing with somebody who has kids for previous relationships.
I do, because I want to know how this is going to affect my life. See?
Selfishness. But you're it's not selfishness, because you have to be sure of every aspect of the relationship. Yeah. That's not being selfish. That's just being cautious, because guess what? If you are not cautious, then before you know it, you marry somebody and then they drag your coins into the child support.
Yeah, and I just say selfish. It's like, well, it's Timmy's birthday. This is my last $20. Timmy's gift, my nails. See? But he can wait till next week. He got a mama. But I know. I'll never prosper with that attitude.
I think you only have that attitude if you fell for a deadbeat.
Right.
Like, so I know you ain't gonna do that.
Right. So,
but
best of luck,
a lot of women just have a mentality of like, this my man, I'm gonna do what I want with my man, that's your kid. I ain't got nothing to do with that.
No, not really.
You a baby mama, you're full of drama, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, you kind of married the baby mama drama.
Right.
So, like, you kind of have to be...
Now you're a part of it, legally.
Legally, you're obligated to be a part of this situation.
Yeah. Sucks for you.
Right? And now what's crazy is, like, the whole Kirk situation, he gets put on child support officially, whatever. The money that he gets from... Mind you, he's Rashida's manager. So his little 10, 15, whatever percentage he get, got to go towards baby mama. Ain't that about a bitch?
So the wife is paying you to pay the baby mama.
Yes.
You better hope she don't fire you. You cut off.
You did.
Right.
But that's all we have in celebrity news. I mean, actually, I'm going to bring something up. I actually want to start talking about these shows. We kind of ran out of time from our episode last week because it was already like 2 hours. It was really long. But on Teen Mom 2, there was a situation. Oh, I just get confused because I know I had talked before how people don't really understand the bullshit that Javi does because they automatically want to blame Kale for everything.
Yeah.
And just the simple fact that his sister told him in the last episode, he's moving too fast because this idiot decides to go and get a ring for Brianna. And I'm like, I feel like by this time on the show, they had only been dating for not even 6 months.
Yeah.
I want to say it was like 4 or 5 months. So what is Javi's problem with wanting to be so attached to a relationship and making it so big when it's not so big?
Yeah.
He's like forcing a situation, forcing a family, forcing all these things
right
so quickly, and then he doesn't really know how that's going to really turn out.
God bless their hearts.
So in the episode of last night, which I did not watch, I saw clips, he went and asked Brianna's mom, Roxy, for permission of hand in marriage. And I'm thinking, what is it about her that you want to marry so fast?
Right.
And the only thing I've heard is like, oh, she's loyal. AKA, she ain't gonna cheat on me. How do you know?
Right.
Because if she winds up finding that you're full of shit, just like Kale felt you were full of shit, and simply texting, one of her other baby daddies.
Yeah.
And you find that it wasn't appropriate, then all of a sudden she's not loyal. She's disloyal again.
Yeah. And I think, I'm no Dr. Phil on this, but I feel like when people have kids with multiple partners, I feel like with that, you have to be a little more cautious because it's like all these people that now you're in a relationship with, and, well, you're in a relationship with one person, but you have all these other people that play a part in your relationship. Like, let's say Javi and Brianna did get married. We know they're over now. But it's like, okay, Brianna has to but Kale is a factor. And then Isaac and Lux is not Lux, the younger. Isaac is her oldest son. What's her son's name with Javi? Kale's son with Javi? Lincoln.
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm drawing the blank.
So you have...
Because she calls them different names.
Yeah, 2 kids over there. Granted, Isaac is not his, but he still treats him like a son.
Yeah.
And then you have your 2 daughters with 2 different baby daddies. So then it's like all these other factors. And that's why... with me, like, even if a person's like, I make $1 million a year, so I can have all the kids I want. Financially, yes, but you still have 15 kids with 13 different people. And that's 13 different relations. And it's just like...
And they're all connected in some kind of... The kids are all connected in some kind of way.
Yeah, and it's like that's
because if Brianna and Javi would have had a kid, then that brings another mixed kid or sibling into the mix of Lincoln.
Right. And then
now
it's like,
she's affected because now Javi's going to want Lincoln to be pulled away from those 2 siblings to his other half sibling, and then the girls on top of that, and then there's all this like visitation and
all these
permission
baby daddies and baby mamas, and it's like it's a lot. Like even with Kale, I'm like, I know that you financially can take care of all 3 kids and never get a child support check for the rest of your life and be good. It's the fact that like you're so young, and then you have 3 different men with 3 different relationships that you have to try to juggle with 3 different kids, 3 different schedules, and it's like, girl, that's a lot. So
I wouldn't even want to deal with
yeah.
that. I got one. I said,
so
fuck that.
That's why, like, when I see stuff, well, especially Javi and Brianna, I'm like, do you really know what you're getting into? Like, but, you know, young and dumb.
Yeah. It was just, it's crazy. And then I feel like he gets attached way too fast because he was like, well, I'm going to go see the girls and the girls are going to come, and he would fly to her house. Mind you, she lives with her mom and her sister. Yeah. So, and he's staying there too. Yeah. And then he's like, oh, well, I'll help, I'll get the baby ready and you get Nova ready.
Like, a bigger house. It just, I don't know, but it just looks like, I feel like y'all are in, like, a 2-bedroom or, like, a 3-bedroom.
Well, then again, like, she hasn't really been on the show and in the franchise as long as the other girls just yet.
That is true. Maybe
so I feel like by next season they're probably doing a nice little upgrade because I'm pretty sure they're all getting some kind of check because they're all very drama filled and they're gonna want to continue that. So, yeah, she just hasn't really been a part of it as long as everybody else. But it was just weird. He's like, oh, well, I want to see the girls and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, y'all been knowing each other as like friends for a little bit because of the show, but y'all were long distance to begin with. And sometimes when you're long distance, you don't really get to know a person when you deal with them on a more consistent, regular basis. Right. So I guess after that happened, and he keeps picking these really dominating women. Yeah. Because Kale has...
That's probably what turned him on. Seeing Brianna and her sister gang up on Kale. Like, I got somebody to help me.
I mean, but... That's like kind of afterwards.
Well,
like but just what attracted him in the beginning before even the Kale situation got involved and got heated. Like, he's picking... Kale is very dominating. And he knew the whole situation that Kale and Joe were having at that time. And he was... I feel like he can come in and try to be that man that backs them up. Because remember, he had it took him longer to have a good relationship with Joe. Yeah. After Kale already had made amends with Joe. Yeah. And he was like, remember, Javi got so pissed because Kale didn't stay on the porch. No, Joe didn't stay on the porch to get Isaac. He went in the house. Mm. And he was like, there should be no other men in my house while I am not there. And she was like, but it's Joe. Right. And he was like, nope, no men in my house. But yet she's texting a classmate about a project and he goes the fuck off. Yeah. So like Lord. He talks about this word disloyal and being loyal, but it's not really rational of what he gets mad about. Yeah. So then did she cheat? I don't know. But from my understanding, and he kind of admitted it too, the time she did started sleeping with somebody else, it was after she already filed for a divorce. Yeah. Now, granted, some people people still believe that that's cheating. Right. I mean, because they're still legally married. Yeah. But if you're already out of the house, you know that she doesn't want no parts of the relationship anymore. I mean, is that something really that you have to be that mad about if she's already filed for a divorce? Yeah. Unless she told you something we don't know about you guys getting back together and then still went ahead and went with somebody else. So it's like, what are you really mad? It's like he wants to force something to be mad about that really didn't happen, or he's just making it bigger than what it really is. Yeah. So now there's this whole situation with Brianna. They broke up, and after them breaking up, he got somebody else pregnant within 6 months. It's like, what the... Do you have... Him and Kale don't know how to have any type of personal time to themselves.
And those are the worst type of people.
And Brianna doesn't. Javi, out of all the adults in this situation, Joe has been the only one to have a consistent, long-term relationship with one person. Yeah. And that was the first person he dated as a serious relationship after Kale.
Yeah.
And now they're, you know, together. He was like, fuck that. I'm about to go to Delaware and be closer to my son.
Yeah.
And V was like, well, that's my man. I'm going to support him. And now, you know, V, Joe, and Kale have a decent relationship. Kale said that the relationship with Javi, see, like, now I'm getting confused because there's so many freaking people involved in this. Kale and Javi was good until Brianna's situation had came up. Then the whole situation with Brianna and Lewis is so-so. She thinks he's a good dad because he finally can send $250 a month a week, whatever. And then I don't know what's going on with the situation with the first baby daddy. I can't remember his name right now.
Yeah,
it's just way, way, way too much to deal with. And I've kind of understood, like, I know I have a kid, but I really do not want to date a man with any kids. Mm-hmm. And it's not because I'm being selfish and I only want my kid to be the only kid around. But it's like, I don't want to deal with any other parents in the situation. I already got to deal with mine. Yeah. Now, if I have somebody else with one kid, I got another person I got to deal with. Because if we wind up getting married, guess what? I have to co-parent with this other person. And I got to co-parent with my son's father. I don't have time for all that. I only deal with one. That's the only one I'm going to deal with. And it's going to be me and my husband, and, you know, at 5 years after we get married, because I'm not having kids right away. It's just, it hurts it makes my head itch. My brain itch, my head itch, my scalp, my skull, all that. It's just too much drama. And then you got crazy ass, what's her name? Janelle. Well, her... I'm sorry I have to say it, racist ass husband. I can't. Yeah. Calling people faggots, just all types of just anything, any term that hates a certain specific group, that's pretty much what he is. Mm-hmm. He's crazy. Mm-hmm. And now she has a situation with, first, Barbara she has a problem with Barbara. But now she has a problem with the other grandmother. Say another situation, she has so many kids by so many men, and there's so many adults involved, and then there's so many grandparents involved. Now she has all this stuff coming from two different ways. She has a situation custody stuff with Barbara. She pretty much was able to keep her full custody, and now she hates Barbara for that when ultimately the judge gave it to her. I don't see why that's really a Barbara issue. Yeah. And now she's having a situation with Nathan, and it's crazy because Nathan, she used to always get her men to side with her and then talk shit about Barbara. Yeah. And Nathan was really bad at it. Yeah. He was, good job, you got your daughter on heroin, like all that stuff. And now they're at reunions hugging and asking each other how you doing. Yeah. And it's like, until Janelle understands that she's a common denominator in all of these situations, it's not going to change with any of these people. Right. Now she's having custody battles with Nathan, and then Nathan's mom is getting involved. And now her husband's mom does the exchanges of Kaiser.
Yeah, it's just...
And it's like, she really should not have anything to do with this. Yeah. And he was telling the mom, like, I'm supposed to have exchanges with Janelle. But her husband's like, no, you can't be around Janelle. Is that really how to co-parent? Like, yeah. And then the husband has his own custody shit with his, like, oldest daughter. He got 2 kids. It's just, be careful about getting all these kids with different people. I mean, it is what it is. You have the money, you feel like you have the money to take care of kids and all that, but it's not just about the monetary aspect of it. It's just the complication and the headache of all these personalities and all this responsibilities and stuff that you have to deal with all these people. I can barely have a conversation on this podcast without stumbling because there's so many fucking people involved because there's so many fucking kids. The easiest people to talk to is Chelsea.
Yeah. I don't even talk about them. It's a lot. I actually watched a show this past week. Well, I didn't watch it. I just left TV on MTV. And I was like, if I watched this every week, I would just... You know, I know this is a show about reality TV, and it probably hurts to our ratings to say it, but I feel like every 6 months, people should go like 2 weeks and watch no reality TV. Because I'm not even going to lie, when you just watch it, you're like, what the? It does not, like, I don't even have baby daddy drama. I don't even have a baby daddy. But I was watching it, and afterwards, I was mad as if I was like, I had the issues. I'm like, this, like, it's just, Someone said that to me a few years ago. They're like, certain reality show, well, they're like, stuff you watch, like, it can end up affecting your mood. And I'm like, it's bullshit. And then you watch, like, 5 episodes of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta or something, and it's like, it does. Like, I watch Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, and I walk away feeling, like, empty. Like, what the fuck did I just do with my life? But, side note, yeah, but I guess if they got all their baby mama, baby daddy drama under control, there would be no Teen Mom. So they need to keep it up to keep the show going.
I mean, it could be a Teen Mom. Didn't nobody ask them to have all these fucking kids, though?
But, yeah.
With all these people. It was just fine with just the one kid with each of their situations.
Right.
But they decided to keep going and going and going and going and going.
Right. But let's say everyone ended up being like, you know what? We can all get on, like, a Kel and Joe page. There would be nothing left of the Teen Mom. Because the first struggle, well, not struggle, but it was like, dang, you're a teenager having a kid. So that alone is going to be. But it's like, if y'all are all adults and y'all all work your shit out, there's no show. So I'm going to keep just having babies with people I don't know. I'm going to keep getting in relationships that I know isn't going to work out. Because ultimately, this is what keeps getting me paid. It doesn't pay to be a responsible adult and get my shit together. Fully.
Well, they feel like they do have their shit together, probably.
And that's why it makes good TV. Because it's like, oh, you think
I mean,
you're
I would
doing
hope
good
they're
shit.
not having kids just to be on reality TV. That's not really necessary. It's not.
But that's what they do.
No, I know, I understand that, but
that's what I was saying.
I'm saying realistically, what their mindset actually is. We can speculate all we want about how their mentality is. I'm just saying, like, for example, the closest thing to what you're saying right now is Chelsea's situation.
Yeah.
So,
but if everyone on the show was like Chelsea, there would be no Teen Mom. Or they would have to recast.
No, not necessarily, because Chelsea's situation, she still has problems with Adam.
Well, yeah.
So, I mean, that's what I'm saying. It really isn't necessary to have more kids.
Well, I didn't say just have more kids. I was like, I said, you have more kids with people that it's not going to work out with. You get in these relationships that it doesn't work. It's like a cycle. And if you fully just get your shit together and say, okay, you know what? Let me figure this out. Let us all get on the same page. How would that affect your paycheck?
I just keep going back to Chelsea. It doesn't affect her.
Well, yeah, because she's in every show. You always have one, maybe two people that has a lot less drama than everybody else. Mm-hmm. But if everybody's situation was like Chelsea or the more mild situation, there would be a very big recast.
No, I know, I understand that.
That's what I was
saying. The mentality is that
for some of them, their drama and their instability is what keeps them paid.
Right. Their drama and instability is one thing, but what I'm saying is I'm hoping that adding kids to the world is not a part of the specific instability to continue
Do I
getting
think
a
it's
check.
Hey, I'm ovulating, let's fuck, because new season's coming, and me being pregnant, do I think it's that serious? No. But do I think to a certain extent it's like, well, if I do get pregnant and, you know, we don't even know if we're even in a real relationship or we don't even know where we're going, then, you know, it's okay because I'll be good. Because now I have another factor to add to my storyline of this show. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
In terms of the kids.
That seems like too much.
It
That seems like
for
way too
some
much.
people, yeah.
But I'm coming from a sense of I'm not on a reality TV show, and I will never be.
That's what I was saying.
So all I'm gonna say is this: if they do have a mindset where they feel like they're good to have more and more kids just because on their own reality TV show, that will be the definition of selfish. That's being selfish. Because you're purposely bringing people into the world to have a storyline on the show. That's heartless. And I'm just trying, I guess, play devil's advocate, and nobody on that show is being that heartless. To add to a storyline.
Well, no, because you're taking part of what I'm saying and just being like, I'm not.
Storyline for a check. I understand what you're saying. And the storyline adds to a storyline, which eventually gets a check.
Right.
I know what you're talking about, but ultimately, the first situation is to make the storyline bigger.
Right.
I know what you're saying, but I'm just saying I'm hoping that nobody is doing that, because that's just being. I understand people just don't know how to get the shit together. They don't understand the people that they're with and things of that nature, and they just keep making these dumbass mistakes. But going as far as to purposely have children for a bigger story to have a paycheck, I hope none of them are doing that. And I don't want to assume that, because I feel like that's really heartless and damn near cruelty, because now you're just bringing a whole bunch of kids in the situation and fucking them up because you're a fuck up just to get a check. Just as bad as bitches on welfare, and they keep doing that shit too. I'm just hoping that nobody's mindset is that way. That's all I'm saying. Because that's pretty fucked up. And moving along. So Young and Pregnant, which is like a different version of Teen Mom, if you guys are just now paying attention to our podcast for the first time. So they had their reunion of the first season. It was only an hour, and it was only one part. And for some reason, Angela Simmons was the host of it. I guess because she's a single mom. I thought it was kind of random, but I was like, what happened to the usual? But I guess since she's doing the other shows and other obligations, I guess they just needed somebody else, and I guess she's in New York often. I don't know. I just still think it was random as fuck to have Angela. But she did talk about how, she was waiting until marriage to have sex, and she wound up not doing that. And the first time she had sex, she wound up getting pregnant, and she's a single mom. She's not with that person anymore. So I guess it was relatable to have her on the show.
Yeah.
The wackest segment of the reunion was Lexi and Kyler, the girl that was a cheerleader and acts on a onesie for can you go out, my mom? It was so fucking dry.
Yeah.
Not in a sense where I was expecting drama, but they're very monotone. Like there's no inflections in their voice, no, extra over pronunciations and enunciation, no excitement. It's just like, yeah, he didn't want to go out with me, and I cried, and he's like, yeah, I didn't really know that I was, it didn't really hit me I had a kid until my mom forced me to go to oh, your mom forced you? Yeah, she did. Oh, well, darn. Maybe you shouldn't just tell me that. But you went to all the other ones afterward. He was like, yeah, I did. Okay, well, I guess I'll give you. It was like, what the fuck? There was no.
Yeah.
It was weird. Teeth felt like he did not owe Miss Damien an apology for getting in her face. He was like, I only apologize for the money part. I'm not apologizing for my reaction. And Angela, that black side wanted to come out so bad.
Yeah.
She was like leaning forward, like, so you don't feel like you need to apologize for being in her face and calling her goofy and like all these things. Like, you don't think you need to apologize for that? And he was like, no.
I just can't wrap my head around it. Like, I can't think of one male figure in my family that would allow anybody's baby daddy to get in my grandmother, mother, auntie. I can't. No.
But what other man is around though?
Should an uncle? Somebody. I don't know. But I don't.
Well, one thing I found interesting that no one knew is that they actually got along before the show started recording. Because he had mentioned, like, he's like, the most, I was really hurt because I felt like Miss Damien was like a mom and my mom wasn't there. And she confirmed, like, no, we were really, really, really close. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I guess that's why I felt like I was just really pissed off because she's supposed to be like my mom. And all of a sudden I felt like I was being treated differently. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's cool or whatever, but you still, I mean, if that was your biological mom, you just going to take her debit card and use her PIN number?
Yeah.
Like, that part, it was like, it didn't really, it's like, oh, okay, well, cool, I didn't really know that, but at the same time, the fact that you still felt like that was okay, like, even if that's my mom, I'm still going to be like, even if you don't ask, just be like, I'm about to use your debit card real quick, and then just walk out. At least you know. Yeah. You know, at minimum.
Just disrespectful.
Just disrespectful all around. So it's like, okay, so this is how you treat the person you felt like was a second mom to you?
Yeah.
It didn't make any kind of sense. So, I mean, they hugged it out. I felt like if it were me, I'd be like, I understand. I hear your apology, but I feel like you crossed the line that you can't come back from. You're not my biological son. I don't have to take stuff from you. I don't have to take care of you. I don't have to have you in my house. All these things I'm not required to do. The only person I'm required to take care of is her, and she barely hanging from a thread because she about to be 18. She's not required to be in my house anymore. So all y'all need to understand that I'm doing the stuff that I'm doing because out of the kindness of my heart, and I know what it's like to be a parent, and I'm just trying to help out. But as soon as you cross that motherfucking line again, you are not in my house. I'm not required to do that.
Yeah.
And of course she no. Well, you know, I know that there were some things that made me upset, you know, when he was holding the baby and, like, yelling at her and, like, come deal with my anger, Miss Damien, and all that kind of stuff. She was like, yeah, well, you know, some of that stuff made me really angry, and then I said some things that I shouldn't have said about his parenting. What did you say that wasn't honest and true? Why are you back? These are her things that she said she shouldn't have backtracked it or apologize for, and the stuff that he did towards her, he definitely should apologize for. It was completely reversed. And it's like, I wonder why your daughter gets walked all over on. Like she's a rug because you do it too.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, I mean, that's just a problem between them. I don't want to be in the middle of it. I'm like...
But you are, as long as she's in your house. Sadly.
I mean, even if she wasn't in the house, like, that's still your mom. Who do you really pick?
Oh, I thought her mom said that.
No. She said that.
Well, yeah, there's just no... You're not disrespecting my mom. That's just...
Even if we ain't... That same thing, like, I can talk about my cousin, but you can't talk about my cousin. Yeah. I can have a situation with my mom, but you cannot talk shit about my mom. That's not... We're not doing that.
Yeah.
That's not popping. I will kick you out of my mom's house before my mom will kick you out.
Yeah.
We're not having that situation. But it's like, I kind of see why she's like that, because her mom is like that. She's very passive, like, oh, well, I don't want to start any arguments, so I'm just going to let it continue.
Shit, I mean, you could be passive and call the cops. Like, even if you're like, you don't want to deal with it. You don't have to. No. You can deal with it by not dealing with it. But
like, let me nip this in the bud.
Right.
I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's just not. And then that's also reflective of when she was like, well, I don't want him in the house when I'm not here. And her daughter was really like, I don't give two fucks. He's going to be here because I need help. Well. And she still let her, like, I would just really respect her more if she let her daughter, like, look, I understand that as your baby's father and you need help. But he disrespected me and disrespected me in my household. He does not have the right to be up in here. If you decide to break my rules again, I'm going to kick you out.
Pretty much.
This is when you need a black mama. Because most black mamas wouldn't. We're not going to put up that. Just like Danae's mom was like, you better get her. I start cussing and stuff. I ain't dealing with it.
Yeah.
Moving on. We can actually move on to Danae and Brianna. they even showed a clip of them saying multiple times, like, you know, no matter what, Danae's always going to be around and blah, 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 blah. And they were like, doesn't matter. It's not his child.
Yeah.
Because they had recorded the conversation between Brianna and her mom in the backseat of the car. Like, of course, I guess they're new to cameras, so they thought their conversation was supposed to be private. And it's like, bitch, there's cameras in the car. Like, they can record everything. Mm-hmm. And so, of course, they were like, well, that conversation wasn't supposed to be on there. If they catch it on camera, it's supposed to be on there. Right. Point blank, period. And just saying how, like, oh, well, we were just saying how you legally can't sign the birth certificate. But in that conversation, that car, you clearly were like, well, I mean, even if he could, he can't. Because by law, you can't. But you just told this man that no matter what, he would be around. So why would it be an issue if he could?
Right.
Because, like, it's like you still have this underlying type of, like...
Why would you even make that type of promise to somebody that's not your kid's dad? Like, why? Like, your baby is still a baby. It's not even a year old yet. Mm-hmm. Why? That's the great thing about if you date somebody and then it don't work out. It's like, okay, you have no ties to my kid has no ties to you. You can go your way, I can go my way, and we can live our lives. Like, why would you even... But, you know what, young.
Whether it's a trans man or a cis man, like, it's still fucked up. Because if it was a cis straight man that came in the situation, the person that she's dating now, and she gave that promise to him, she probably would actually follow through better with it with the cis man than a trans man. Mm-hmm. I honestly feel that way, and I'm not taking that shit back. Because she had mentioned how her boyfriend now takes good care of Brayson. And it's really good to him. And it's like, that's fucked up. Because I'm pretty sure if he wanted to be like, I want to adopt him, you would do it in a heartbeat. Yeah. But y'all started talking about adoption and stuff before y'all even had the damn baby. And then the baby, and they were like, well, there was a reason behind it because apparently she did let Brayson, Danae take the baby. And there was this allegation that Danae told Brianna that he was drunk. But then the mom was there. She was like, I was there. It was a couple of us in the house. He wasn't drunk. So you're lying. It's like, you pretty much lied to us and our whole side. Mind you, she said it in front of this whole black side of the family. I've said to him, no matter what happens between us, he will always be the father of our son and blah, blah, blah. Like, you can't do shit like that because if it was a cis straight man, it wouldn't be an issue as far as calling Danae like all types of names. And it'll reflect bad on her because now she's taking away from the biological, the father, and that the father's supposed to be there. But because it's a trans man instead of a cis man, they're treating the whole situation differently because they feel they can do whatever the fuck they want because biologically he's not yours. That's fucked up.
Not cool at all.
No, not cool at all. So I thought that situation was all fucked up. And last but not least, we can move on to Bar and Ashley's situation. Lord. Bar did do anger management. And he felt like it's actually a good thing because he said for years he was against it. He finally went. And he said he's finally benefited from it. And I honestly think he did because even in the reunion, he was trying to even calm Ashley down. Yeah. And he's usually not the one. He was like, we agreed that we were going to let her finish because the mom was on satellite. His mom was on satellite. Yeah. I guess she couldn't fly or whatever. And she claimed that Ashley took the first swing. Ashley claimed that she took the first swing. It was just too much back and forth for... I don't really understand the reason, but I kind of sided with Ashley in the sense of, this is my child that I gave birth to, and I went through labor for 40 hours. Mm-hmm. If I feel like you are being toxic to me, I feel like you're going to be toxic to my child. And I feel like if that's going to be the case, then I don't feel comfortable with my child being around you right now. I mean, I think you have to kind of respect that. She always wants to play the mother card with Bar. Why can't she play the mother card with her daughter?
Very true.
So she was like, you want respect as a mom. Where's my respect as a mom? You can't use the grandparent card to trump the mom card.
Yeah.
It's the reverse. So it's like, I kind of side with her on that end, on that aspect, because she kind of just needs to back off when it comes to being hands-on with her granddaughter, because they're trying to get their situation together as it is. And that's why I kind of respect Ashley's mom, because her mom was like, I'm helping you, but I'm not trying to be all up in your shit. Y'all need to get... Bar fucked up. She kicked him out. Said, you can't come in this house. Yeah. You can move, but you can stay outside. You can't even come on my porch.
Right.
He respected it. When they moved, there was no problems.
Right.
I feel like when it comes to Bar's mom, she's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm here for my son's birthday party. She was like, I told you you're not invited. You weren't invited. I didn't invite you on purpose, and you still decided to show up.
Yeah.
So, of course, I'm citing Ashley again, because you guys have a tumultuous relationship. Things keep going south. Once again, you're trying to use your mom card to trump her mom card in the situation. Yeah. And then it just caused a whole bunch of havoc, even though some people feel like Ashley was being disrespectful to an elder. Yeah, but it's like, at some point, you have to stand your ground as a parent and not back down as a child.
Yeah.
Because you're not really a child anymore, no matter how young. I mean, she was 20 when she had her daughter, so she's not even that young.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much the whole situation of the reunion. I just felt like it was kind of crazy. It was definitely different from the original because it was the only 1 hour. Yeah. And I felt like it was too many people. Because I didn't even talk about the other Jade. I didn't even talk about her, but I feel like it's insignificant.
Yeah.
It's just we had.
Well. Best of luck. Luck of best.
Talk about Jersey Shore.
Well, if you got anything else to add.
You've already said your piece.
I lumped
That's
it in
pretty
with
much
that.
what, I think that was the bulk of it. I mean, I haven't really, I think the only thing we can add is that on the show, Mike had proposed to his girlfriend, but that's...
Yeah.
The
Congrats.
bulk of the whole situation. Mm-hmm. Besides Ronnie. Ronnie is like the biggest piece of the puzzle right now, especially with what happened the other day. But yeah, I mean, it's cool. Pauly D is still the same Pauly D. He makes me laugh. So
he's actually at Dre's tonight.
What's the day? The 26th?
Tuesday.
I would actually want to see him just to say I've seen him.
Yeah.
Just one good time. But you know how these club admission fees be.
Yeah.
I think that's the only benefit of us getting our Nevada license is because when it's like, I went to the outlets the other day and I was like, oh, free for Nevada residents. And I was like, I don't have my Nevada license yet, but I guess you saw my plates and she let me park for free anyway. Yeah. I was like, I'm not about to sit here for $5. You can pay $5 when I live down the street.
Right. That's crazy.
I think it's absolutely insane that the Strip is starting to charge people who live here. Mm-hmm. Because y'all got plenty of tourists come in. Why can't you get money from them?
You win some, you lose some.
So I kind of want to discuss a little bit of this show because you had mentioned it. I mentioned it last week, and I got caught up on the back end. You're a little bit more caught up on the front end, that Southern Charm. I feel like out of most of the reality TV shows I've seen, that's a majority of white people. It's probably been the most dramatic. Yeah. And I feel like that's kind of an oxymoron because it's supposed to be about the South. Yeah. It's literally titled Southern Charm, but there's no charm in it. Yeah. It's like they tell you about Southern values. They talk about the fucking war all the damn time. Yeah. Pre-war. That they lost. They keep talking about it. They even refer to bricks in a house pre or post Civil War. Oh. And based on what you have in your house actually costs more if you have pre-Civil War brick. Wow. What kind of crazy shit is that? It's like they're so stuck in the history of things, and they're not progressive in any kind of way. No. So you have this this sense of Cameron, who is the person who's kind of progressive and doesn't really, follow the whole Southern woman standards, because she got that from her mom. Her mom is like, if you don't want to have kids, you don't need to have kids. You're not required to have kids. I mean, I would love grandkids, but I'm not about to sit here and force you and tell you that you're not doing your job as a woman because you're not having any kids. And I thought it was hypocritical that Patricia, I love her and hate her at the same time, if that makes sense. But she was talking all types of shit about Catherine and like having kids out of wedlock and stuff like that. But when she found that Landon professed her love to Shep, this bitch invited her to the house, told her, she was like, well, I know how to get a husband. It's about the touch and the feel and your clothes. And,
Of cotton? She sounds like a Hanes commercial.
The touch,
the love, the
the feel
like,
of cotton, fabric of her life. And like, she was like, well, this is the Dior fur coat. Do you know how to sit properly in the fur coat? She was like, no. She was like, so if you have a fur on, you do the fur flip and you flip it and then you sit down. She's like, oh, so you don't sit? She's like, no, darling, you don't sit on the fur. It's like,
okay.
The part I love about her is that she's just like, this bitch got some money. She got a butler. She ain't got to do shit. But then I hate her because she has a butler and she ain't got to do shit. And she's so pretentious and it's just so like, the whole traditional Southern stuff, it irritates me because it's based on double standards.
Yeah.
So it's okay that her son fuck everything in the sun.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's happening, and you saw Catherine leave your son's room one morning while you were getting coffee, so you claim. But yet Catherine has kids with a Ravenel, and it's a problem, even though he's the one that had kids out of wedlock too. But it's okay for him to do it, but it's not okay for her to do it. She can have a congratulations on your new baby party for Thomas, but then Catherine is pretty much a whore with red hair.
Yeah, just double standards.
It's really bad. It's really, really, really bad. But I feel like the whole situation between Thomas and Catherine is fueled by people who should not have their nose in their business. I feel like the theory of Craig, that came from Craig, about how Whitney's really just mad because she wound up sleeping with his best friend not too long after him. I feel like that theory is true.
Yeah.
I don't think he would be that involved if it was just a normal concern of a friend.
Yeah.
I feel like JD is more genuine. It's like, I'm really kind of concerned.
Yeah.
But Whitney just goes all out, like, talking with his mama, and just, ooh, she's just such a, classist individual.
Okay. Whitney.
He irks my soul for some reason.
Yeah. They're all an interesting bunch.
But, yeah, it's just interesting because like I said, I felt like it would be a little bit different, but, it's titled Southern Charm. It really isn't any type of charm in it. I feel like the only thing you can really grasp from it is, I guess, some history behind it.
Yeah.
About how long the Ravenels have been in the area, and there's the Ravenel Bridge and blah blah blah.
Yeah, it did make me want to visit Hilton Head, South Carolina. That place looks really pretty. I
haven't seen that episodes yet, but the other one was the mountains up there. It looked really nice, and I just know Hilton Head from work because I've seen that address so many times. But I'm pretty sure it's a nice place to visit, but my black ass could never live there. I thought it was bad on the West Coast. Try and go into the South, and you are mixed with white people. Obviously, there's like predominantly black areas all up and through the South, but if you can't even go to a nicer area where there are people who are like the Ravenels and all that kind of stuff, and not be judged automatically when you're seen. That's just, it's no. Can you imagine all the Patricias of the area?
Oh, yeah. They definitely exist. It's heavy.
It's real bad. I don't know. But anyway, moving on. I'll talk about it more when I get caught up, I guess.
Yeah, I can't really talk about it without telling you what happened. So I'm just,
I mean, you can tell me because I've seen clips of the newer stuff.
Yeah.
Because I know Cameron is pregnant. If not, by the episodes you're watching, she had the baby.
Yeah.
And then, aren't Landon and Shep exes?
Yeah.
Okay, so I know.
Well,
most of that
Landon isn't even there.
She's not there anymore?
No.
Who was the exes with Shep then? I just assumed that it was Landon.
He doesn't have any exes on there right now.
So I'm probably mistaking him with Craig.
Yes. Craig's ex. Yeah, they broke up.
What was the reason?
Just...
The old Craig came back?
Yeah, I guess Craig couldn't get his act together. But
Still?
according to Craig, he was like, well, I graduated law school. I did all this other stuff. And
So he finally graduated for real, for real?
yeah. So...
Because I know I've just finished season 3.
Yeah.
He kept saying that he graduated law school, but in actuality, he finally admitted it on the season 3's reunion that he never technically finished. He walked the stage. He graduated. His parents flew all the way to wherever he was and saw him walk across the stage.
Yeah, I think he said he graduated and he took and passed the bar.
So that means my point was that he never finished the thesis.
Well, yeah.
So he probably, I guess, finished that thesis.
guess because she was saying, well, you don't do anything that, you're supposed to do. And he was like, well, in a matter of, you telling me that was an issue, I've done this, 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 and this. And then he was like, well, what have you done? And she was like, well, you don't even get out of bed in the morning. And he was like, well, you still live at home with your parents. And it was like, well, okay. Y'all just, but yeah, they're broken up, but the thought of seeing him or hearing about him with somebody else still pisses her off. And yeah.
So is she a cast member now?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why is she a cast member? Okay, I have to watch to see exactly why she was so significant to the point where she had to be an official cast member. That doesn't make any kind of sense. I have to see when I guess season 4 was Landon's last season. Mm-hmm. Because you're watching season 5.
Yeah.
And she's not on there.
No.
I don't even know what happened to the first girl with the short hair. Her name was Jenny or Jenna or something like that. She was only in season 1. I guess she was like, this is too much for me and just kept pushing.
Yeah, it is a lot.
Yeah. And then people were accusing her for having a sugar daddy instead of a boyfriend because they were trying to figure out, what do you do to have all of this? And she was like, I ain't got to explain shit to you.
Right. She doesn't.
No. I think she was like, you know what? I had my stint at RealiTEA-V and I'm good. I be wanting to know, what happened to all the people who just did season 1 of whatever show they were on?
And went back to their regular lives.
And no one really remembers them, and so they can go to the grocery store peacefully and not be in the shade room every other week because people can continuously invade their privacy.
Yeah, because reality TV isn't for everyone.
No.
So, yeah, it just works.
And I think people just have this unrealistic view about it. I think it's very different when you have 1 million people and 1 million cameras in your face for a significant amount of time. You have no privacy whatsoever. You're pretty much signing your life away just so you can be on TV for a little bit.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then you have to uphold this standard because if you do one wrong move that everybody can potentially do, you're looked at as the villain automatically. So if you gain weight, people see. They call you all kind of names. If you lose too much weight, that's going to be a problem. People have all these opinions about it. I don't want nobody to have an opinion about my shit.
Right.
I want to be able to have fuck-ups and drunk nights and all that kind of stuff, and nobody knows.
Yeah.
But me and the people that I decide to tell, because they ain't going to tell nobody else.
Pretty much.
And I just never would see myself doing it because it's I don't need that much exposure in my life. I want to be able to go out and no one can recognize me. Go to the grocery store and no one asks me for an autograph. Because I was following, I said before I followed Kale's like Snapchat, and she was like in Target one day, and I'm like, you just go to Target by yourself? Like, I'm pretty sure there's people in Delaware that seen the show. Mm-hmm. Because it's pretty huge on MTV itself. It's probably one of the better rating shows. Especially with all this Brianna and Javi, like, crap. So I was like, I probably would just have to make more money that way. I could just have a nanny do everything for me. But then I feel I'm going to feel stuck in my house. So, no.
I think the housewife, I feel like the only reality people who's like, I can't live a normal life is that family with the KKJ initials. KKJ. But I think everybody else is like...
KKJ, what is that?
Yeah, that family I don't talk about.
Kardashian?
Yes.
Oh! Why is it two Ks?
I don't... They're all KKs. Kim Kardashian, Kourtney Kardashian. Oh, you made me say their name. And then Kris Jenner, Kendall Jenner.
Oh.
Kylie Jenner.
I was like, why are all of them together?
Yeah, great. I said their name. But, yeah, I think they're the only ones in the reality TV scope world that's like, my life isn't normal. I think everybody else...
They choose their life not to be normal.
Yeah. Yeah, I think all of them for the most part, unless they're the ones calling the paparazzi or stuff like that, they still can, like, go out. I'm sure they still get stopped. I'm pretty sure. When I was in San Diego, I saw Karen from Mob Wives and, where was I? Oh, I was at a hotel. I always used to go to that hotel to use the ATM. And yeah, I didn't even ask her for a picture because I was like, I don't really know if that's what she wants to do. Mm-hmm. But I just said, hello, I love the show. And she was like, thank you. And she was nice, and that was it. But, yeah, I think they still have a somewhat regular life. Probably especially in, like, Delaware. It's people probably like, I've been seeing this girl everywhere. Because it's a small-ass town. Well, state.
It is a small state.
So, yeah. I think probably they might get more attention when they go out and, like, cameras are actually following them. Because it's like, hey.
I see what you
what's
mean.
that camera? I think them and, like, the Jersey Shore cast for, like, the first few seasons were, like, the only ones that was like, oh, your life is not the same anymore.
Yeah, as far as the KKJs, they chose their life. They chose their new normal.
Yeah.
They feel like everything that they do has to be on camera.
Yeah.
I don't think they will ever change. I think they just reached something ridiculous, like 10 seasons worth.
Yeah. I think 12 at this point.
So yeah, it's in the double digits at this point. Like, who wants to have their lives on TV that fucking long, unless you think that's your new normal? Mm-hmm. So it's not. I mean, obviously, if the show ended tomorrow, I don't think they would be any less financially successful than they are now. Yeah, they don't need to be on. They just choose to do it. Yeah. I wonder how much E really pays the check to that family.
Last time they got like. Don't quote. I heard a few years ago when they renewed for like 5 seasons, they had got like $100 million.
That sounds about right. So,
kudos to that, I guess.
That's not right. Where I feel like they get more money from everything else that they do, so it's like it's not even a requirement. They're just pretty much sold their souls to the devil. That is reality TV, because they felt like they need to have money in all different avenues and whatever. What the fuck? Why am I going into detail about this shit? Anywho, I don't remember, and I did not watch an episode of Potomac from Sunday if it came on. I don't remember that at all. I've been really stuck on Southern Charm, like binging it. I did see clips of Basketball Wives
Mm-hmm.
and this whole thing about Jennifer telling Shawnee that she and Tammy have a conversation about Evelyn fucking with Shawnee's ex, who I'm assuming is Shaq, because Evelyn had put something on Twitter, this can hurt her family and her ex-husband. So I'm pretty sure it was Shaq, but of course they bleeped it out. I thought it was random as fuck.
And I feel like it's ass backwards of Evelyn, which, on one hand, yes, Shawnee is your friend. So for somebody to even insinuate that, if it's false, is very whatever. But you didn't think about that when you was laughing about Cece being a whore and giving hand jobs and stuff. Like, it's funny to start the rumors and laugh about them with other people. But then when it's on you, this is horrible. This hurts families. It's like, but you think that only applies to
They feel
you?
like they can justify it because they weren't the ones who started it.
Yeah. Well, I guess according
But Tammy
to
was
Jen
like,
and
I heard it. I didn't say it.
start it. It's the same way y'all heard from somebody that Cece was recruiting men giving hand jobs.
Mm-hmm.
Jen and Tammy was like, well, we had heard it from somebody, and at the time we weren't talking, so I shared it with Tammy. So it's, you can't really too much. I'm not going to say can't get mad, because I understand Shawnee is your friend, but you just kind of need to understand the same way that you spew shit out about the next person, you don't like it when it's done to you.
Right.
Plain and simple.
And then, of course, I saw the clip of Tammy bringing up the situation. Like, well, you lied on Chad. And,
She
of
always
course,
goes to Chad.
This whole debate had came up again because when it first happened, a lot of people were like, well, bitch, that was karma because you have been on camera throwing bottles at people, throwing hands, feet, and eating the other objects you feel like you could do towards other people and try to beat their ass. But now, all of a sudden, a man beats your ass, and now, like, you want us to feel sorry for you. And this is like a karma situation.
Yeah.
So because Tammy had made that comment, that sparked this, like...
Right. How dare you blame the victim?
Yeah. And then she had posted... Evelyn had posted a picture of her, like, her, like, wound
Face
on her
and
face
stuff.
and, like, you know, mentioned, like, it's kind of fucked up that you mentioned something about a survivor of domestic violence. And I really, honestly, truly have mixed feelings about it. And I have to be completely honest. Not mixed feeling as far as, like, she deserved it. But honestly, it's really hard to try to be on the side of a domestic violence victim or survivor when you have really gone above and beyond to try to whoop people's ass multiple times to the point where you throwing bottles. That's something that could cut them and hurt them and make them bleed and, you know, just different stuff like that. So it's kind of hard of like, how is it different because it's a relationship and it's from a man than when you do it from some chick that you don't like?
Right. And then she even said with the whole Jen thing, she was like, well, yeah, we weren't friends at that time, but, you know, I would have never done that to you once we weren't friends. It was like, do you not remember that? Like, if I was Jen personally, I would have been like, I accept your apology. I'm glad we could have had this talk, but we are done. Like, there's no coming back. Because I'm like, do you not remember that season? Like, every scene that y'all filmed together, and of course, Jennifer's not a fighter.
No.
So, every scene, you were at dinner tables, you were jumping over tables trying to fight her. You was on vacation chasing her off the beach trying to fight her. All because she went on a radio station and said, I don't think Chad is right for her.
Sure.
Like, and you essentially, like, drove her off of the show. Like, so you kind of got to remember, I don't know how that conversation came about. I don't know how true or false it was. But you got to remember, you can't do fucked up shit to people. And then when they want to retaliate, whether the story is true or not, expect them to still be like, well, me and Evelyn were friends. It was like, no, at some point you got to own up to the fact that, like, you did some fucked up shit to her. So if she tried to retaliate to do some fucked up shit to you, you can't even be like, how dare you? Because you spent a season, like, just constantly, every time y'all were filming.
And that was one person.
Just fucking her over.
And that was one person.
Yeah. And then you had Tammy, who really just never liked you. So it was like, I don't know, like we said, I don't know how true or false it is, but
I mean, it kind of goes back to my philosophy is like everybody keep their hands to themselves.
It's that simple.
Just everybody keep, because I think Tammy said, you've been beating on him the whole time too. Like,
and
that was in the clip that I saw. It's like, so Tammy was like, pretty much you're screaming that you're a survivor, but you was putting your hands on Chad.
Yeah.
Sorry, I said what I said.
And, you know, we were not there the day of the incident. We've never seen any footage or anything of you putting your hands on him. So, you know, I can't fully get behind Tammy and be like, Tammy, right. But she and the cast who was there might know something that we don't know. But if that is true, maybe hopefully you have learned your lesson from then to be like, you know, I too will now keep my hands to myself. And
I mean, it didn't last very long when she got back on the show because she was trying to fight Jackie.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think she really knows, like.
Yeah. And, oh, God, and I hate when you even make me have to side with Jackie. And it's like, and that goes to another thing. Like,
yeah.
Initially, yes, you donated to her daughter out of good faith. That I believe, you know. But the minute Takari reached out to you with the book, you bought that on film, and you further perpetuated issues in her life. So you can't be so, oh my God, I can't believe this rumor about me, when it's other people's mess, you're more than happy to drag it out. That's the part. It's like, you know what? Whether you slept with Shaq or didn't, like, you can't just be so quick to play the victim.
She dishes it, but she can't take it.
Yeah,
that's pretty much what it boils down to.
So, best of luck on, you know, maybe we find out the truth, maybe we don't, maybe this was all made up to keep us tuned in, but either way, good job.
I think that whole Evelyn versus Jackie situation would have been dealt with a lot sooner. Even if Takari did, like, reach out to her and send the book, I felt like if she would have just kind of kept it to herself and not brought everybody else into it, made copies, freaking have a reading session on the beach about a chapter and like, oh my God, she's just a horrible mom and blah, 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 blah. I'm pretty sure Jackie would have felt a lot differently about the whole initial donation being more genuine, which it could have. I really believe that the donation was genuine, but because everything had happened afterwards, it made it seem like it wasn't genuine because you were just, you know, putting gas on these flames and like making it worse, and you were kind of to her it felt like you were co-signing Takari on you know, making it official that she was a horrible mother. Yes, that's Takari's perspective, that is her prerogative to voice on how she feel like she was raised, and I know Jackie has a completely different perspective as a parent of that child, but when it comes to mothering and parenting and all that kind of stuff, it's kind of something that you really got to stay out of. Yeah. And the fact that she has a kid, and then Jackie was like, well, what if I told you that people call your daughter a builder whore? Technically, Jackie didn't call her daughter a builder whore. Yeah. She said, how would you feel if I said that about your daughter, about what other people said about her? So, just like you, I hate to be on Jackie's side, but technically, she didn't really say anything about your daughter. She just said, what if I would to do the same thing? Because you're pretty much spreading it that she's a bad mom. So what if she spread it that your daughter was a builder whore? Yeah. And she tried to trying to confirm that. So yeah, I think Evelyn still has a long way to go as far as like just be quiet sometimes.
Yeah,
just be quiet. I mean, yeah, talking about Tammy's walk and maybe her wigs, that's one thing. But when you started to get in people's personal lives,
right.
you know, their mothering, or you in your relationship with Carl and then your egg situation, because if Tammy would have bought up, like, well, that's why you can't.
Scrambled eggs or something. Fucking Phaedra.
That's why you just mad because you have to scramble your own eggs because your man ain't around no more. You know, and then it'll be like, well, that's fucked up and blah, blah, blah. That breakup was really hard on me because I didn't know what to do with my embryos and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, I mean, you kind of always bring up situations with everybody else. So that's why I have a hard time, like, really.
Right. It's like I liked when you first came back, but it's like you spent the last 2 seasons really just talking about other people's mess and perpetuating it. So now you're in some mess where you're the subject of if you did the mess or not. So it's like, well,
it's like no one can really talk about her mess, but she could talk about everybody else's mess. And it's like, the whole thing about CeCe spreading that and making fun of that can jeopardize her livelihood. And yes, she did go to school and get these degrees and went through the proper channels to open a business that she has to poke people with needles. I'm pretty sure she does make a very good amount of money from that, and just making the joke and you guys making it like she still wants to. Right.
You're making it on, maybe that's what they don't, but they realize it. Like, you're making it on TV. You're not making a joke between you and 3 of your friends in the house where it stays. You're putting it out there on TV.
Right. Of course, she's on there trying to promote her business, because that's something that I would do if I had a med spa. Like, I want to be able to, use my platform, my 15 seconds of fame, to at least say the name of it. And then all of a sudden, now here you come. I'm not even on the show for one episode worth, and you're already talking about my business gives hand jobs and happy endings. Whether there's just rumor you started or not. Right. It's like, okay, well, now, Evelyn, if you open a business or whatever, somebody can say that, you give blowjobs in the back, then...
Well, that's been said before. But we won't go there.
I just have I like Evelyn, but I don't like her at the same time, because I feel like she's the type of person that can talk all types of shit. But when people talk shit about her, she don't want it to, she feels like it's rude and unnecessary, and you should stay off that subject and don't talk about that. And I'm a survivor, like blah, 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 blah. It makes it hard for people of what'd she say on her Instagram? She said, it makes it hard for people who are survivors of domestic violence to come and talk about their story, because people feel like they need to talk about them negatively as far as that violence goes, which is very true.
And
but it's like you can't talk about other people's situations.
And she has a habit of doing that, because even when she did some book like 3-4 seasons ago, and one of her friends was on there, and she was like, well, you made the joke about Susie about, like, I need to wear a helmet, and that really hurt my feelings. And her friend was like, well, how do you think I felt when you wrote a book and you put a whole chapter in there about me and my marriage and didn't even tell me? And she was like, oh, well, okay, I guess I didn't think about it that way. It's like, you don't really think about other people's feelings when you do and say shit, but you expect the world of consideration with you.
If you want people to have consideration of your faults and your trials and tribulations in life, you have to put others in consideration as well. That's just the common courtesy. Because I know B said before, if you try to go with low blows with me, I'm about to go low blows with you.
Right. And then you can't get mad and be like, well, as a friend. Nope. No. We were in a blow for blow war. Whether we end up calling truce down the line or not, that's up to down the line. But, just, if you're going to dish it, you got to be ready for it to get served back to you.
I've had situations where I haven't been friends with other people before. And I just don't need to blast anything. I've had bad breakups or bad, parting ways with exes that just didn't go well, and I don't need to announce to the world on a Facebook post or
your dick small.
Huh?
Your dick small.
Your hairline's uneven.
And another thing.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
I just never really, even in college when subliminal messages was like the thing, I really didn't do it all that much.
Yeah.
And I do have some Facebook memories that pop up. And they were pretty direct. They weren't really, I didn't necessarily say the name, but I'm like, this fucking roommate of mine, this stupid bitch think I'm fucking, it wasn't really subliminal. Like, I didn't really do that.
Yeah.
But there's some people who still be like, I think it's funny how people will do this in X, Y, and Z, and they know good and damn well that person follows them and knows what the situation was.
You know.
Yeah, so I never really did all of that. So I don't need to pronounce, announcing to the world, like, well, this nigga is full of shit. He got a small ass dick. He's still in love with his baby mama.
Oh.
He be living on the couch.
Well,
He
if he still serves baby, you know what? Nope.
That's exactly why I don't do that, because it's like, okay,
So how
let's
did y'all
say
even start?
perfect example, Carly Red and Young Jock.
Oh,
Those
yeah.
two started going at it.
So fun.
And Young Jock was like, well, you need to get away with your pimento cheese pussy or something like that.
Right.
And I'm like, you're trying to make it funny and make it seem like she's an unclean person.
Right.
But to me, that makes me feel some type of way about you, because you fuck this pimento cream cheese pussy. Like, this is not, it's like, there's no, I don't really find a need to, because I feel like that business is my business.
Right.
And I'm telling people my business, trying to talk shit about somebody else, but that is really what I dealt with personally. It's like, I don't need anybody in my business. Not really. No, I'm good. I'll keep it to myself. I have 3 people I tell everything to. One being in this room right here, and then one from middle school and one from college. I don't really tell anybody else my business. Not everything, because I don't need to. It's just not, no, I'm good. So, Evelyn, you're going to have to learn that karma is a bitch. I'm not saying that what Tammy said was necessarily right, but at the same time, it's hard to defend your side when you're doing something, you're complaining about something that you've done in the past.
Yeah.
And you continuously do it now. So it's just like, it's hard to ever really say, okay, Evelyn, I get you. Tammy was completely wrong, blah, 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 and all that jazz. So maybe I'll find time to watch it later.
Nah, you'll be good with the clips.
I just didn't see more of Shawnee's reaction on it. I just thought, I never do that shit to you, Shawnee.
Yeah.
Why you didn't tell her that if you knew a year ago? I mean, that kind of is a good question. If it was a year ago, why didn't you say anything? Why wait now and say
Yeah. Because I was going to say, maybe
reason?
she really didn't want to be the messenger, but Tammy kind of was. So it was like...
Yeah, but what was the reason of actually bringing it up now a year later?
Yeah, it was...
That's like, it's like, if it came up at the time and you haven't really been fucking with Evelyn this whole time.
Yeah.
I don't know why this is the season to bring it up.
Yeah.
And then Shawnee just sitting there like minding her own business, trying to get a weed empire popping.
Right.
I don't know. Plus, she has a really good relationship with Shaq. Like, they're really good co-parents. She probably ain't never gonna get married, so she can continue to get that alimony, which I ain't mad at. Go ahead and do what you gotta do. Kids damn near grown. The last one's almost damn near grown.
Yeah. She's living a good life.
She really is. I never really... Have you ever even heard something of her in the tabloids over the years?
Nope, not besides her divorce.
And the most that happened with Shaq was the whole thing with the hoops.
Yeah.
But I haven't really heard anything outside of that.
Yeah, he hasn't gotten remarried neither.
He probably felt like
He was like, you know what? No, I'm not paying nobody else.
Right, I'm already paying Shaq.
Right.
Oh my God. Yeah, he paying a pretty penny, and I feel like they feel like it's just a bad idea for either one of them to get married. But anyway, our episode has come to a close.
Yes.
I'm tired. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Snapchat. Not Snapchat. I have a Snapchat. But our podcast is Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. RealiTEA-V. We have an email, RealiTEA-V@gmail.com. Mm-hmm. I can be reached personally on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, Fumi Adagun, and Snapchat at Ebony888.
Facebook, Roberta Smith, and Instagram, Leave It to Be, with the 2, not a T-O. Yep, that's about it.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Guys.